Welcome to TechBrothersIT. In this video, we are going to explore a lot of important functions such as explode, explode outer, explode position explode, and position explode outer, inline, inline outer, and struct. So after importing the necessary libraries and initializing Spark session, we are going to go and take a look on our sample data. So here is my sample data, and you can see that I have name column here. Then I have an array of fruits, or fruit. So here is there are three items here in the first for Amir, and then there are two items for Sarah. There are three items for John and two items for Lena as well. Now we are creating a data frame, a df underscore array, by using spark.create data frame function. Now we have to provide us the sample data that I did just right here. So I'm going to use it here. Then I'm going to provide the list of columns or the columns. Here I'm using name and fruits for this data frame. So it will create the data frame. Once the data frame is created, we are going to go ahead and execute this code to see the data. Okay, so here is our output for the show method, and it is showing us the name column here and the fruits. And you can see there we have the array of fruit here, and then so two items and three and two items. So exactly what we had in the sample code right here. Now what we are going to do, we are going to use the explode function. In the explode function, it does flatten the array column into individual rows. So as of now, you see that for Amir there is a single row, and we have seen that in just output. But what's going to happen when we are going to explode, we are going to see three rows for Amir apple, then Amir banana, and Amir fruit. So let's do that. Here is the df exploded, and that's a new data frame I'm creating here equal to df array. That's our sample data frame that we just created on top, and I'm selecting the column called name here, and then I'm exploding the column called fruits, and then I alias this one as a fruit, and this will saved into the df exploded. Once that happen, I'm using df exploded.show to show you the results. So let's go ahead and execute this one and take a look. And here's my output, and you can see that we have a name and we have a fruit column here now, and Amir, there was one row, now that has converted into three, as we had three items there. Now for Sarah there was two items and there was single row, but now they are converted into two rows. For each of the item it created a new row. For Lena there are two rows now, as there was two items in this array for Lena right there. Okay, so that works great. Now what we are going to do, we are going to go to the next, and here we did explode, and now we are going to go and explode outer. So in the explode outer, what happened, you have similar to the explode, but it will return you null for the empty arrays. So if you see right there, I'm creating a new data frame by using this sample data, and I have actually put this array, empty array for Sarah, because I want to use explode outer and show you the outcome. So here is our data again. Amir with three items for him, for Sarah zero item, no item at all, and John has three items, and Lena has two items. Now we are creating a data frame saying spark.create data frame data array empty. So using this data sample data, and then we are using these two columns, name and fruits. Let's create a df exploded outer here. That's our data frame equal to data frame df array empty. So that's the data frame we just got created, and we are selecting the column name here, and then exploding outer by using this explode outer function, and which column we would like to explode is fruits. So that's the values in the fruits. So we have this array inside that fruits column, and then we alias as a fruit. And remember that when we are going to execute, we are going to see null value for Sarah, because that's the empty array, but for rest of the people it will create multiple rows, as we have multiple items for each of the array right there. So we have Amir, and we have apple, Amir banana, Amir cherry. So we have this there was this array that has three values, and now they got converted into three rows. For Sarah we are seeing null. For John we are seeing 3, because there was melon, kiwi, and pineapple items for his array, and the two items were available for Lena. So in case you need to see that any empty arrays and those need to be converted to null, explode outer could be better choice. Okay, now let's go to the position explode. So pos explode, exploding arrays and getting position as well. So before that we were just exploding and we were not getting the position of those items in the array. So but if we are interested to see that, we can use a position exploder. So here df exploded, if you see right there, that's the very first data frame we created, this one, we have that right there, okay, and that we can use again. So I'm going to go ahead and write here, sorry, I'm going to use actually df array. That's the very first array I created with these values, okay. So let's experiment here. We are saying position exploded, so df position exploded df array, that's my original data frame that we just created at very top, and then we are selecting the column name and then saying position explode, and the fruits, that's the column has array values, and then there are different items in that, and then we are saying alias position comma fruit. Here we are printing that out by using a show method. So if you notice here, we are doing two things here. So once we are using position explode, it's gonna give us two columns. In the explode we are getting simply one column, that was alias only fruits, but here we are also getting the position. So we have to say position comma other column, whatever the name you want to give. In both cases you can give any name that you like, but position and that makes sense, and in the other one fruit makes sense for me too. So I'm going to go ahead and execute this one, and you're going to see some results here. So remember that we have name that comes as is. For Amer, we see that there were three items in that array, banana, apple and cherry, that came just fine, and here is the position for each of the item. So it is helpful in case you need to get that. And for Sarah we have two items, orange and grape, and that's, I'm talking about the very first array here. So see right there, Sarah, sorry, let me take you all the way up. So here Sarah, orange and grape, so orange is 0 position and this grape is the first position. Same goes for John, melon, kiwi and pineapple, so 0 1 2. So if you go back here for John, you see 0 1 2, and this is a melon, kiwi and pineapple. So if you want to get the position of that item, that's you will be using this function called posexplode or position explode. Now we are going to check out posexplode outer, and that is pretty much same like posexplode, but it will return you null for empty arrays. So exploding arrays with positions, but returns a null for empty arrays. And remember that we had empty array that we created right here. It called the df array empty. So there is Sarah was there that has empty array, so we can use that array here in this example. So I'm creating a new data frame here, and here I'm using a df array empty that we have Sarah in that data frame, and then I'm selecting the name and then saying pos explode outer, position explode outer, use this method, and on which column, fruits, and then alias as position and fruit, same syntax what we have used on top, but there was in the first example we didn't have any null values or empty arrays, but here we have. So now when we apply that, what we are going to get, we are going to get a null value for Sarah in one of the item. So see right here, so Sarah null, because there is no item available to Sarah in any of the array. So there was an empty array for Sarah, and rest of that works just fine. You have position and the actual item that comes or actual item, yes, that's there in the row. Now we are going to explore another function called inline, and exploding an array of structs into individual rows. That's what this inline function will do for us. And here is my sample data. You can see right there we have name column here, and then we have struct data type right there. So you can see multiple values here, and then you have seen another one, and then another one. So we have 4 records here. So let's define a struct for our schema, so we can use against our data to create the data frame. And here it's going to be struct type, and the very first field is the name, and it's going to be string type. So you can see this is what I'm going to use for name here. And then we have struct field, that's fruits, and this is array type. And you can see from there you have fruit and color, and that's what we are going to use. Now I'm going to create a new data frame called df struct spark.create data frame, and here is the data I'm going to use, and then I'm going to provide the schema here. I could have just simply provide the name of those column here, but also it's a good idea to create this data type and use it here as a variable, and that will help to create us a data frame. So now once this data frame is created, we have a df inline, and here you say df struct, that's your data frame, select, and we are selecting name, we are selecting then we are applying inline function on the fruits column right there, and remove alias here for clarity, as inline creates multiple columns. So I did not say alias this and that because it's going to create the column itself, and then I'm printing this out the new data frame by using show function here. So let me run this code so you will see what exactly will happen. So here it is. Now we see that we have name here, Amir, apple, banana, and then we have red and yellow. So it created fruit and color, and then it has the apple here and banana here, and then you have yellow here. So the struct, let me see here. Okay, so see that it is an array of struct into the individual rows. So what was here for Amir? An array of structs. So this was first, and then this was the second row. So you see that fruit was banana, and here was fruit was apple, color was yellow and red. So now the array of structs are converted into the rows, so you can see right there. Okay, now same thing happened for Sarah, John, and Lena. So you will be using inline in case your data looks like this. So you have an array of structs, then you will be using this type of function inline, and the writing part is very simple. You can create a new data frame, apply on old data frame, select the columns, and the other columns will come as is, no problem. This is just a string type column, and here inline you will apply on that array of struct type column, and that will just got converted automatically. So you don't have to worry about that. It's going to take the name from here, and then also take this two as a color as a column. So it will automatically create this columns for you. Now let's take a look on the inline outer, similar to the inline, but return nulls for empty array of structure. So here for Sarah I'm putting empty array, and the rest of that values are pretty much the same what we had on the previous. Now I'm creating this data frame, and here spark.create data frame using this sample data, and then I'm using a df struct schema. So because the schema is same, and it is exactly like this data sample data, but I just put empty array for Sarah, so that's why I'm using this variable here for my schema. Now here is I'm creating a new data frame called df inline outer, and now df struct empty, that's the data frame we just got created by using sample data that has empty array. Now we are saying select name, so we would like to see the name. That's going to come Amir, Sarah, John, and all that. Then I said inline outer and apply on this fruits column, that is the array of the structs. So see right there, so this is these values. Okay, so now we didn't provide any name of the column because it's going to get the column itself, and then I'm going to go ahead and run this. It's going to show you the null value for Sarah, and but for other wherever the value items we have, it's going to show you those. So see right there, so it's great. Now the last one what we want to take a look is called struct. It create a struct row from multiple columns. So here I'm creating a data frame called df struct creation and df array. So that's a very first array data frame I had it. So I'm going to show you that. So we can df array. Let me actually print that for you right here. Okay, so here is that data frame. We have name, and then we have fruits, and here we had apple, banana, and then we have cherry, and we have orange and grapes. So it is truncated a little bit. We could have put a truncate false here if you want to. Let me show you. So now you can see the full item list here. And now what we are going to do here, see, it says that create a struct row from multiple columns. So here we have only a name, and then we have array that is containing multiple items. So how we are going to do that, we are creating a new data frame, and then say df.select and select the name, and then what we are saying, struct fruits. So name will come as is, then the struct is applied on fruits, and we are going to call this as the fruit struct. So instead of array of these items, it's going to become struct, and then we are just printing that out at the end. So I'm going to run this both lines, and then you will be seeing this is the original data frame you have right there, and now this is converted to the struct. So you can see that the struct creating a struct from the column. So this was array, and now it has put the kind of become struct right there. Now I thank you very much for watching this video. I know it is a very lengthy session, and there are a lot of things to learn, and you often maybe forget, but as long as you are getting familiar how exactly we are creating these data frames, how we are selecting the column, how we are applying the functions, and then basic functionality of those functions, and understand a little bit like, hey, if I need to do this, which function I will be using, I think you will be fine. And with the more practice, it's going to become more easy for you, because you will get into scenarios, and then you are going to open these videos and go through it and say like, oh, okay, here he had this struct types, and then guess what, then if there was some empty values, I want null values for that, then oh, okay, then for that one I have to use inline outer. So I hope these videos will help you, during your job and the learning process. I thank you very much for spending time with me. Please subscribe my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.